All right.
Okay,
Got you some hot coffee?
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot here again.
Go. Do it.
Okay. I don't know. I imagine this is your new facilities, but we have a cleaning company.
Oh, you saw all the leaves and shit. No, but I want to get you a job out at White Lakes.
Yeah, I want to do some cleaning for you. Your
Okay.
business. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
All right.
And I'm gonna hold you to it. See it.
All right. Well, see, I leave that door open and the leaves come in.
Okay.
But also, I'm kind of a humble guy.
Good.
I don't mind cleaning, doing it. I know he's telling me my office is in shambles. But the door over there, the leaves blow in.
Well, I look at your restroom too.
Oh, the restroom. Shit.
Yeah. Leave that. I'm not gonna.
All right. Hey,
I can do some work. We can.
But I am putting in a new sink.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put in a utility sink.
Don't go out your way, but I mean, if you do have an opportunity, we sure would love it.
Okay, so let's get you though out at White Lakes. If Tyler Weibel's watching,
Okay.
we've got some water in the basement.
Okay.
And we got some demo we need to do.
Take the water out.
Okay.
We do final clean. You got my card.
Final cleaning.
Yeah, we do cleaning. We do cleaning. We clean buildings, offices.
Man, see, you got to ask.
Yes,
if
sir.
you don't ask,
yes, sir.
The meek inherit nothing, if you ask me.
Yes, sir. Well, the Bible taught me, ye have not, because ye ask not. And since you put me on the spot, I said, well, let me. The Lord told me I'd come back and said, put him on the spot
here. Hey, maybe we could trade some out from the media.
Because we're having a good time here.
We could trade some out. Do you feel better?
I feel wonderful, Mr. Well, you told me to call you Henry, so I'll call you Mr. I normally call people Mr., but you told me to call you
Henry. I like it.
So
I like it.
Call you Henry.
I like Henry.
Okay.
I was named after that guy up there.
No.
Because he was the first Henry.
Oh, okay.
And then
that's a beautiful picture.
That's his name was Henry Augustus Bantleon.
Oh, okay.
He had 13 kids.
Well, yeah.
See that girl over there? They married.
Okay.
She's a German girl, Yvonne,
she looks
Yvonne
like
Bacher.
She looks German.
And we got thrown out of Europe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, every time I got thrown out of a bar, I said, you know, my family's been thrown out of the country. This is nothing.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, really, I think we've really just scratched the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
And so what I'd like to put you on the spot
okay.
is why don't we do a series? So why don't we put our shoulder into this project together?
Absolutely.
And then let's just change it.
Oh, well,
let's just change it as we go.
I think the citizens of this community, and I've cleaned a lot of carpet, JB Carpet and Upholstery Care. I've cleaned a lot of carpet in this community, and the people know me. They look at my reviews online. You see, we're a 5-star company because I give the Father in heaven all the glory. But my dad would never pay me that much when I worked for him at Mid-America. But he says, son, I gave you the training. So I take that training and say, well, I want to do quality work and not quantity of work. And that's where the 5 stars come from. I'm there at every job to make sure it's been done properly if I'm not doing the job myself. Now, as I age now, in my early 60s, I've had sciatica. And I've got a good worker getting ready to come on board here to clean carpet. And we're going to try him out over at College Hill. We got an apartment Monday we're supposed to clean.
You know, I'm the original developer.
Yes, sir. Very good.
I was bragging.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So, you know, we've been cleaning over there for years, but we can't handle it all. But
the city of Topeka, see, part of my heart really hates to get mad because, like, Neil Dobler was the head, maybe interim city manager or head of public works at the time.
Yes, sir.
And old Clark Duffy right over there.
Yes. I always liked Clark, and I've read his material. Don't know him personally.
Man, he was the big brother that, like, he was always trying to get me to quit drinking.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure.
You know,
That's a
even
blessing.
while we're drinking together, he's
That's a
trying to
blessing.
get me to quit drinking.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
You know, sometimes it's so hard to hear
Hmm.
when people tell you the right thing.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just hard to hear.
Yes. Yes.
I would never go back to that old life. Not once you've seen, now that I see the world in this light, there's no stopping me. The energy just keeps getting stronger as every day from March or from May 2nd, 2015.
And you know, when we first met, the first thing you did, you prayed for me, and I felt that.
Yeah.
700 in Quincy. That meeting, you prayed for me, and I felt the prayer. So we'll keep continue to give him the glory.
Yeah.
Because he's the architect of all of this.
What's crazy in my life is like, so now I work for the Orthodox Church. They're a client of mine.
Okay.
And the God Storehouse, I've done some real estate work for the Clues family.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a cute couple. They're running for office together. And I've gone to his church.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they started off as a church 1st
Mm-hmm.
and then became a thrift store.
Oh, God family. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
They started off as a church and then became a thrift store.
Okay.
They're really cool people.
Okay.
You ever met them?
No. I called him out to take some furniture once, and I guess it had some rat stuff at the bottom, so they didn't take it. But you know, it's good that they didn't take it. We still got it.
Come over to my place sometime.
Uh-huh.
Down, I live right across from Amtrak.
Mouse track.
Yeah,
Rat.
I got you.
Sound like I live in a. Okay. Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. And
Well, even somebody
and
left some food out in here. We had a mouse.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, so like I said, I'm
All
not
right, I'll
really
step my game up on my cleaning. Man, I got called on the carpet. Well, so
no,
now
that's
let's talk about your media.
that's what we do. That's
Let's
what we
talk
do in this
about your
family.
media. What do you really want in media?
In media?
Yeah, in your media. Do you have a website?
Oh yes.
You got a .com.
Oh yes.
Okay. What's the website?
jbcarpetcare.com.
Okay.
Yes.
How are you running for office?
Well, I meant to talk to you about that today, and my wife really has more of she wants to she had talked to me when we first met about being a senator. So she really has and once you meet, hopefully you can meet my wife one day. But
Yeah, why not?
she lived in Colorado for a number of years, and she's been through a whole lot more than I've been through.
See, look,
Yeah.
see that?
Uh huh.
When my mom and dad got divorced, we lived up there over the summer.
Oh,
That's the Bantleon Ranch.
okay.
That's up in Teller County,
Okay.
between Florissant and Lake George.
Lake George.
Yeah.
Florida.
No, Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I went there once.
I lived in Boulder and Greeley.
Okay.
Different times.
Okay.
I was going to move. I was living in Florida when I was in the office leasing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to tell you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go from the mall business to
Mm-hmm.
the internet business.
Mm-hmm.
Then, it's like, man, I really want to go to work for myself.
Uh-huh.
Well, being a real estate broker is the epitome of working for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing now with my business, and it's helping me a lot, is I'm referring some of my listings out
Mm-hmm.
to really great people here in Topeka.
Mm-hmm.
And that way I can sell.
Yes.
I can be the salesman for
Yes.
my listings.
Yes. And
I'm better off in sales.
Yes. And the thing about it is, my wife, she travels all over the country.
What's she doing?
Well, what she does, she fixes. I was telling the gentleman this one day, and I told him my wife travels around the country. She said, "Oh, she's the fixer. She works for the VA."
Oh,
and she's moved up. She's moved up the ladder. She was in Texas. I moved her to Texas.
You gotta bring her in here sometime.
Yes.
Did I tell you about the desk in there?
Yes, you did. You did. Yes.
So the VA,
Yes.
the reason
Yes.
Harry Colmary
Mm-hmm.
was, and I'm always bragging about knowing Harry as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but he wrote the GI Bill of Rights. He negotiated the Philippine Treaty.
Mm-hmm.
and then he rewrote the Philippine Constitution. My media company is actually based in the Philippines. And what I like about that is we've got people here too, but we're on the clock 24 hours a day.
Yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. So uh, now Jamie is going to take a little time off for Holy Week, and he just had a baby.
Oh, tell him I say congratulations.
Yeah, well, you are right now because he'll be
Oh, okay.
watching.
Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
Jamie's a good dude. He asked me to be the godfather. What an honor.
Yes. Yes.
I've accepted
And
the challenge.
responsibility.
Yes. Well, um, it's a tangled web. The universe is so cool.
Mhm.
What brings us all together?
Yes.
But this meeting,
And there's no coincidences.
no, there's not. Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to talk about in the next show? And why don't you start off with something? Why jump up to the Senate? I think we need you either in city council
Well, no, I was
or
talking about my wife. You know, I will as I get older.
there's a point in time you got to use
Yeah.
that brain and no
Yeah.
more brawn.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Think about your experience.
Yeah. 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 I let me hesitate. Uh, there will be a time where that will come, Henry.
Because it's just as we got to quit bitching about them
Well, that's
and we got to just
well,
do it.
well, that is correct. That is correct. My goal is hopefully my wife can. So she's a lot brighter than I am. She's a top dog.
Because she married you, she's right.
Well, I was basically fortunate enough when I married her. She has a lot of experience. She's traveled across the country. She's lived
What does
in
she do for the
California.
VA?
Well, I don't like to go too much in her
Because
business
it's private.
yeah, she likes. I'll let her talk.
Okay, fine.
I'll just tell you that part now.
Tell her to get Brett Kale off his ass and get some deals going. He works out there.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's
yeah.
a.
Yeah, she's
I appreciate that.
yeah, she's very impressive. And when I mentioned that day, I told her that I have to introduce her to you.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. As soon as I get my Chick-fil-A commission, I'm going to go buy a suit.
Okay.
You look sharp the other day.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Neil Dobler keeps telling me I need to step up my game apparel wise. Plus, you ought to see David Banks. He's a fashion plate.
Well, yeah, doubt about it.
I got to teach him how to tie a bow tie, though.
Yes, no doubt about it. So,
Well, so look, let's do this. I think we've covered a lot of ground.
yes, we have. We have.
And
we have. We have.
let's do another show.
Yes. I just wanted the folks to get to know who I am.
Yeah.
Uh, and go ahead.
Well, don't you feel comfortable?
Oh yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. You know, like I say,
anytime you want to do a
haven't-
show,
yeah, we haven't. We've only known each other maybe a couple, 2 or 3 times, and so like
you want to talk about someday is your grandfather, or was it your dad's grandfather said you got to get out of here?
No, it was his dad, my grandfather.
You got to get out of here.
Yeah, he had to get out of Mississippi.
You got to get out of here.
Yeah.
That
He's because they're going to kill him.
Imagine that.
That's when the explosion happened. My grandfather knew they were trying to kill him. My dad probably didn't know it at that time. My grandfather was his dad. He said, "We got to get you out of here because they're going to kill you for speaking up for him because they did not pay him the right amount of money for the work he was doing." That was what that was about.
But people
You wanted a short.
people don't speak up in this town because they're worried about the retribution.
And they have and that's a good concern. Because with me, and the way I say that is that if you truly have faith in God, you won't fear the devil.
Since I've died,
they have I had bought my properties, and they had this law in the book that said if your property is beyond 15% damage, we can tear it down. You remember that law?
No.
Okay, you probably had to deal with it. I had to deal with it. And I had They didn't only take one property; they took two properties down.
You know, there's a property in town I can show you. The Green family owns it, won't sell it because it was the first time a black guy got to own a piece of land.
Well, that's another segment right there. Don't know if you want to go into that,
Yeah.
but that's another segment right there. I can. Did you ever know Earl Jackson? Did you know Sam Jackson?
No.
Sam Jackson. Let me just say this. Give me about 5 minutes.
You take 5.
Sam Jackson in the 1950s was part of the Brown versus the Board of Education also.
Right.
Sam Jackson was one of the gentlemen, was a good attorney that helped my father when he was doing the dam over at Perry, when they were doing the rocks quarries over there, dam. And they didn't want to pay my dad. So Sam had told my dad to get a meeting with the guy, and he was going to come out and meet with him. And he came out kind of like dressed the way you were, and they didn't know he was an attorney. And he got all the information he needed, and my dad got paid.
Build his case.
So Sam Jackson ended up going to Washington, D.C. during the Nixon administration, and he created the Housing and Urban Development Program, which for some reason Mayor McClinton gave that over to the chamber. I don't know if you know that or not.
Why?
Well, you'd have to ask McClinton that.
We're going to get him on a show.
I don't know. Are you still in town?
No, he's in Dallas.
Okay, well, yeah, you'd have to ask him.
I like him.
Okay, well,
I
you
met his mom.
Yeah, yeah.
I always liked Mayor McClinton.
Yeah. So, well, I again, he's black, but he, we can be each other's worst enemies sometime. Black people. So,
well, I don't
I think that it has to do with the fact of who you're serving. I serve the Lord.
The Jews are the best at working with each other.
Okay.
The blacks are the worst.
That's correct. And I'm glad we can be honest here.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can be honest here. They say
saw a whole different discrimination from Mace being Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really know for a while that Jews were another race.
Mm-hmm.
What did it matter to me?
Mm-hmm.
But to see the discrimination that Mace got just for being a Jew.
Yes.
Now, Mace married a Catholic, and his actually his was the longest one night stand ever. Their first date, they went to the horse track, and Mace married her. You'd be in his office, and Kristen would say, "Jan's on line 1," and he'd pick up the phone. He'd go, "Hello, Angel." Yes, yes, yes. I love you.
Absolutely.
Boy, that dude knew how to be
yeah.
married. Just say
He
yes. So,
he did.
The day I told him I was getting married, he goes, "Why should you be happy?" I thought about that because being married is a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. I'm just so.
But he knew how to say yes and stay married. Yes. Hey, those were. I didn't realize that till later. He was giving me the best pointers there.
That's correct.
It's like when I moved out to LA the first time. You'd go to these parties and they'd be, "Hey, avoid the 405 at all costs, and don't go down the 10 at this time, and avoid the 110 at this time." And I thought, man, what a shallow bunch of people. And then I'm thinking, these are pearls of wisdom.
Yes.
Basically my job when I lived out in LA was to get lost. Just to find, explore.
Good.
And I had a lot of fun. My last job.
My wife probably had a lot in common because that's kind of when she went there. I said, "Honey, did you know anybody when you went to San Francisco?" She said, "No, I didn't know anybody."
San Francisco or LA?
San Francisco.
Okay. See, I didn't spend a lot of time up in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I think she made it down to LA. Las Vegas, I think she said.
Oh, man, I was in Vegas all the time. No, you'd get all tuned up, and we'd just drive over.
Now, tell me something. I want to ask you something. You probably don't have an answer, but I'm going to ask you anyhow.
I bet I have an answer.
When I grew up in the 70s in Forbes Field, Frontier Airlines was here.
Yeah.
But then they left here. Now, from my understanding, my little bit of understanding, Capital City Airlines was here also. Now there's nobody here, I don't believe, as far as traveling to Kansas City or Vegas or
Well, you know, the
anywhere.
box movers aren't really your big need.
Well, I
The
heard.
box movers don't need airplanes.
Well, I heard that the taxiway fees increased or something. May have had something to do with it. Maybe not. But
Ren,
anyhow, I
Ren
throw that in there.
newcomers jet can come and go.
Well, my dad was able to get Southwestern Bell. Uh, KP&L had their jet out there. They stayed with my dad the tour person entire process through maybe 30 some odd years. Southwestern Bell, he picked them. Not so. Yeah. AT&T, he had them. He had all their jets coming in here. Security benefit. That's what I was trying to say.
Did you ever know a guy named Bob Zabel?
Oh yeah, he was a competitor for my dad.
Millionaire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know Bob. I've done some work for
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah.
I like Bob.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they were competitors, so
Okay.
they competed. So
Well, I'll tell you
yeah,
your
my dad
story.
was a tough dude. My dad was. Anybody knew Jim Bowden knew he was a tough guy. If any of your listeners out there knew Jim Bowden, they know he was a
Well, he
tough guy.
passed it down.
Well, I am a fourth of a percent of my dad. I don't mind telling you that.
You know,
He was a tough guy. Yeah.
my dad had a doctorate in tax law.
Oh.
He worked for his best client was a fellow named Oscar Stopper, and then he was general counsel to Stopper Communication.
Good.
But my dad, they adopted 3 kids, had me, and then they got divorced. And I don't know. Someday we'll do a segment on the day I met my dad. I'll have to bring I'll have to bring a piece of the mighty Missouri. My dad was the first B-29 to fly over the mighty Mo when the Japanese surrendered.
Well, the beauty between us is I can see your love for your dad, and I think you can see that in me.
You know, um, it's taken me a lot of emotional maturity to put behind the resentments of being human. You know, the longer I'm beginning to able I'm beginning to look at life from 10,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And the people, this is what's
Interesting.
interesting
Interesting.
about Topeka
So so far.
is that the people that are afraid to live are the ones that are afraid to speak out against evil. And so dying one time, I don't have to fear
Mm-hmm.
because where I was,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
but I do know that you pay for your
Yeah.
transgressions.
Yes.
So I have a little insight into
Yes.
what's going on.
Yes. And you kind of give me the impression that you were born again at some point.
Well,
But I'll let,
it's
I'll let
so
you I'll let you I'll
it's
let you.
really hard to explain what
Mm-hmm.
happened
Mm-hmm.
because I do look at it like I'm Henry 2.0, but I think it's the same Henry without uh, as many of the. Uh, it's like a cleansing. It was a transition. It was like a baptism. Old Henry still lives in here. Old Henry is still here.
Mm-hmm.
Old Henry knows about but I know now to do better.
Okay, very good.
You know what I mean? I know what road to not go down.
Amen.
I don't need to do that
Amen. So,
again.
which that tells me you have a wealth of experience and knowledge, and all we have to do is pray that you will continue uh, to, to follow the Lord. And what I do is, me and my wife, we read every Sunday. We'll just open the Bible up and we'll just pick up a scripture and we'll start reading.
It sounds like good church.
Oh, we have good church. He says, when two or more come together in my name, I shall be there.
Yeah.
And so we do that.
I like going to Grace Cathedral.
Yeah, yeah. She wants to go to church this Sunday because of Easter time. I said, yeah.
Well, don't you come to Grace Cathedral with me?
Well,
You
this
can,
is
you can
Sunday.
have breakfast at
Sunday
9:30.
Well, my wife has already said she wanted to go to St. Luke's, so
Okay.
we'll have to see.
No,
We
sorry.
yeah we can
I
go.
listen to your wife. That's a smart move.
Yeah, but we can go to Grace
Someday.
Cathedral someday. Yes,
So see, she was Catholic. My
uh-huh.
great great grandmother,
Okay.
and then he's an Episcopalian.
Uh-huh.
And I think some of that in our heritage,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to study this a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad his grandfather was discharged to Topeka after the Civil War. He was a Yankee chaplain.
Oh, okay.
And then he became the third guy at First Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
Samuel A. McClure.
Okay.
Samuel Austin.
Okay.
So my dad grew up in the Presbyterian Church, but the minute he met Virginia Augusta Bethlehem, who's an Episcopalian, my dad converted quickly to become an Episcopalian. He also was the chancellor of the church. So, and why I say there are prayers in those walls, there wasn't anything that my mom wanted more than children.
Yes, it sounds like my mother also.
So, when they settled back into Topeka after the war, and I know there's prayers in those walls. When's Henry going to come along? They adopted 3 kids. And really, what my dad did, he kind of basically threw children at my mom to keep her busy so he could kind of carry on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, my mother, before she passed away 6 months ago, she had indicated that she came here. Doctor said she couldn't have children.
Oh.
So I look at my mom as Sarah in the Bible. And my mom says she prayed for children.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to share with the audience today. And the Lord blessed her. I was the eldest son. I have a sister older than me. We were very close. And we had 2 others. There's 4 of us all here.
I feel a different energy when I go in grace. And I love where this show has turned to, especially in the holy times that we're in today.
Oh, absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
my dad actually filled out the paperwork for the church to form St. David's at 17th and Gage.
Your dad was a leader. And my dad was the deacon of the Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church under this Pastor Templeton. And he was the treasurer for some 30 years before.
So I was baptized on November 22nd, 1959 at what was the original St. David's Church.
Oh, okay. When you were born then. Okay.
And so we went to St. David's, and it was kind of interesting. My mom would go to St. David's up until I got confirmed, where you, as a child, you want to be a part of the church. And the way they used to do it was then you could start taking communion. We changed it in our church because the sacrament is spiritual food and don't starve children. And if the parents want their kids to have the Holy Sacrament, go ahead, let them. But I came back home to Topeka, and I wanted to get back into St. David's, and I was actually a youth director.
Oh, wonderful!
And brought Bianca up in the church.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, Bianca Baleon. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And I call her Baleon, whatever. So yes. Baleon grew up in the church.
Wonderful.
And there was a point in time where I decided my marriage wasn't working.
Sure.
And I used to get up every morning and walk. And I'd go into our chapel at St. David's and meditate, pray, right?
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out what to do. And one day I was having trouble getting out of bed, and I didn't go on my walk. And that's the day the guy lit the fire in St. David's, because the chapel was always unlocked. And he got in there and he took the hymnals and the prayer books, threw them in the corner. Now I would have either been there when he walked in based on time, or I would have walked in on him. And I didn't do it. So the moral to what I'm trying to tell you, it's like someday you just got to have self-discipline to keep doing the right thing.
And
that's been a story. That's been a thing in my life that's haunted me or concerned me. It's made me always think that it's like what like doing the right thing, you've got a choice to do the right
oh,
thing.
absolutely.
And that's and I hate to tie it back to go Topeka, but they're not doing the right thing and they have a choice to do the right thing.
And that's what brought me here today is because, um, as a black man, you know, I feel that, and over the years of the city of Topeka, the Earl Jackson I was telling you about, and the Sam Jackson I was telling you about, um, with the housing and urban development, Sam had created that under the Nixon administration. Have you ever heard of Art Fletcher?
No.
I met Art Fletcher. He was the father of affirmative action. Uh, the one that count up there now did away with Clarence Thomas. Um, Underneath Sam Jackson and the housing urban development, it was to give the black or the minority communities an opportunity to get a loan to fix up their properties, fix up their houses, and what have you. And I know the history of that. I read and I studied. This is what I can talk about. And so, I won't go into any more detail right now. This is our first, like I said, hopefully we'll have more. Hopefully you won't kick me out after today.
Man, this is great. But I I have found a lot of good energy from prayer,
Mm-hmm.
meditation, and I've always been able to read energy. So I can if I meet an evil person, I know it right off the bat. And you just exude positive energy.
Well, thank you.
One thing that we got to do and we got to figure out. So, like, and maybe it's today. Maybe it's today is the day I stop crucifying the chamber and go to Pika and move on.
Well, I came to that reckoning when I did my speech at the county.
That was the day you were able to put it behind you?
Well, it was right before that. And what I did was I said this. I said, people gonna look at me as a complainer. So when I did my speech, I said, and when you put my speech out there, you'll see that. I said, well, instead of me being a complainer, I need to let them know that I am willing to step up and to run that program, just like what you're saying today. You're willing to step up now and to run for the county commissioner. And if you're willing to do that, and everything I've heard from you today, then the people need to support that. You have the business savvy as a businessman.
Thank you.
I think that I have some business savvy through my father, and then the businesses that I've ran and the hardships that I've had to experience. And that's what you have to have in order to, because right now, and I'm going to put this out there, everything I've heard, the Lord allowed me to experience this for a reason. Everything I've heard with when you get those players involved at the chamber, when you get those players involved, then you have a sense of conflict of interest. Well, okay.
An inherent conflict of interest.
Correct.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I've said that for years.
Yeah, we just met, see, but I've seen it. I've seen it with the target projects where they will, amongst themselves, they know what's getting ready to come down the pipeline, buy the land.
That's what I want to do. I want to start really following the money.
And then once they purchase it from that farmer that should have been able to get a bigger chunk of that land, but they go give him little pennies, and then because they know that
no bullshit, they gave Bill Haynes $4,000 more an acre, or $4,500 an acre more than they gave me and Dana Kay.
But then when they sold it to Target, how much did they sell it for?
Well, we can figure that out.
Well, it
We
was
need to follow the
it's
money.
a pretty good amount from what I've heard.
But what I'm getting
I
at,
haven't got the proof, but I've heard it's a pretty good amount.
so it's time to quit crucifying Matt and Molly because they're just following orders.
Oh,
Matt Pavarnak, your buddy
oh,
with the bow tie,
oh. And who are they following orders from?
the members that
Mm-hmm.
want to control the elites, that
Okay,
want to
very
control
good.
Topeka.
Very good.
Yeah.
And so only through our prayers can we break that bondage. Only through our prayers, because we're dealing with.
You know, Matt, that came out of, I sold Matt his house.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
That,
you know Matt then.
well, yeah, that painting came out of
He
that
didn't want to
house.
speak to me.
He said he prays for me all the time.
He didn't want to speak to me.
He's helping me. He's helping me by praying for me.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
that's
Matt,
good.
thank you. You're giving me
Yeah,
ammunition.
yes. Yeah. And I could never understand, especially if you're a public servant, as Michelle Obama expressed, uh, that you don't want to help your people. So, like you say, is obviously there's another force up there, and we'll have to pray for Matt that he'll not allow those other forces to control him, and
He's
that
just
he do God's will.
he's just making money. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
That's his job.
well. The whole thing about it is, and like I said,
So we can't have resentments for him
well,
having
well, well,
a
well,
three hundred and thirty eight
well,
thousand dollar a year job.
well, well, you said that I did. Uh, the thing about it is, and I was reading in the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 21, I believe, when the man said, Jesus, I've done everything you've asked me to do. And what else do I need to do? And what did Jesus say? He said, give all your riches to the poor and come and follow me. And what did he say? He said, well, Lord, I can't do that. He said, I can't do that. In other words, I guess I worked hard for my money. And he said, it's harder for a rich man to enter into the kingdom. And the reason he said that is because what do you value more? Your riches or me? And so I understand what you're saying. But I don't have those riches, so I don't have that. I don't have to really do. I mean, I've had money, but I don't have those riches. So it's a lot easier for me to make that decision. But it's when I've had a gentleman, my dad's taking the conventions all the time. We was in Wichita once. There was a white gentleman that told me. He said, James, you know, I I can't give it all away. The more I give, the more I end up getting. That's what he told me.
I love it.
And he was in Wichita. I don't know his name. That was years ago. He was a white gentleman. He told me that.
You know, I
Now look at Wichita right now compared to Topeka. 300,000. They're moving. They're doing things. I'm not saying they're perfect, but look at their growth. Three
you
hundred
know, you
thousand.
know what's interesting?
Yes, sir.
I look at things sometimes in a whole different.
Sure.
Look how
Sure.
many exits they got off the turnpike.
Okay.
The more exits you have off the turnpike,
Yes,
the
sir.
more you grow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, the turnpike went through my grandfather's land out in Edwardsville.
Oh, okay.
He, he recovered from the Depression. Eminent domain isn't such a bad thing.
If they use it.
Yeah, the turnpike
With
is.
me, they used the 15% to take my property. They didn't give me eminent domain. They just took it. And I'm still recovering. See, all the if I would probably be rich if all the money that I've had to lose through the government, and then to go to court and hire attorneys, pay them well, and for the judge to tell me right now to say, well, I cannot justify this 15%, but I'm not going to go against the city. I had to uh, I had to
Did you appeal it?
endure that. Well, we appealed it. The 10th Circuit said sent it back to the judge. I got Charles Scott at that time. I went to Caleb Stegall was my attorney at the time. He's now a judge in the Supreme Court. Caleb was my attorney at one time. Then I had Brett Landreth before that.
These big names.
Mhm.
You're a player.
And so I endured all that only to come on here today. The Lord already knew. He already knew. I didn't know I'd be here today. I've been looking for a broadcast, public broadcast, and I told you that when I met you. I've been looking. The Lord brought it. So
Wait
the
till
power.
we get to go in the new studio.
So
it's going to be nice.
wait. So the power of the Lord is what I'm a testament here for today. I had to endure. I had to endure all that with the judge saying I'm not going to go against the. Well, it was my idea. My wife tried to tell me was say justice. When my wife told me justice, she said it meant just us. Not, it didn't include us, James. And so I had to endure all that. And I thank for my beautiful wife. Uh, because of the Lord, I fear nothing. If somebody would shoot me today, then it's time for me to go. But the Lord will protect me.
I will too. I'm usually packing.
The Lord will protect me.
I'm a good shot.
The Lord will protect me until it's time for me to go.
I took my daughter out one time and said, "You got to learn how to use handguns."
Yeah, my dad did it at an early age, but I'll be honest with you, I hate to admit this, but I've never really shot a gun since my dad shot that 30 6. We went out somewhere and I was a kid.
All right.
And it about knocked my shoulder out. So I said,
I like handguns.
I'm just not that,
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I'm just not my style.
I don't fear. Mm-hmm. But the sheriff the other day told me, he goes, problems can happen in seconds, and we're minutes away.
Well, that's correct. That's correct. And the thing
evil doesn't come with a warning.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you how when I when I think Felker was in control at that time?
Butch.
Yeah, and I prayed for him right there on the in City Hall there, and I said, the Lord told me to tell you, let my people go. I brought my Bible with me, and I prayed, and I let him know that then. And I guess we won't need almost that come giving everything up today. So what happened was, me and my wife were sitting in the home before she left to go to Texas, and she heard this explosion. And she said, "Did you hear that, James?" I said, "No, I didn't hear nothing."
You thought it was the stump story. It's coming back.
And so she looked out.
We need to get out of here.
Out the window, and she said, "Your truck's on fire, James." I said, "Oh Lord!" So dumb me, I went out there with a water hose. We called the fire department, and
was it arson?
Yeah, well, like I say, and so the fire wasn't done. The fire people they came there and they put their thing on there, went out real quick, and my truck was gone. And I guess that was a way to say you need to shut up.
Listen to this.
Because I was complaining about them taking my properties, and I still have those properties, and I'm hoping to build on them. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to go to Go.
Hey, look, we're going to make a real estate deal here. Hey, look how long it took us to get to a real estate deal. Hey, that's something I'm good at.
Yeah.
Well, so listen, Felker, he's out there, old Butch, and he's got the whole Go Topeka cronies and the chamber people, and they're lining up against me because I had 190 acres of land under a development agreement, and across the road was all the land that Go Topeka had been buying. And so
Gotcha.
I wanted 49th Street paid. Joe Ledbetter, where's Joe Ledbetter when I need him? No, man, he and the guy, this guy from Cook Flat and Strobel, I'll think of his name, but they're giving misinformation about the cost of the bridge and all this stuff. So this is not something. This isn't. This is years of resentments and dirty pool. And so what happened was, I ended up like after my development agreement uh, expired on Frito Lay walks in and they go, "Is Henry's deal expired?" "Yeah." "Okay, we're ready to buy it." They waited till my deal expired. Just ask Dick May.
So you've endured some hardship yourself.
It's this is the tip of the iceberg. No, when you've got like Tony Robbins of Security Benefit Life, they're all standing up against me. I had my attorneys there, an architect. Somewhere around here, I've got the drawings. I wanted to. I had to give my contracts over to them, and I could redact prices and things like that. But they always want to make sure. Uh, are we talking to the right guy? Do you have the authority to be here? And so I had to turn that all over to Doug Kinzinger
Mm.
back in the day.
Mm.
And they stood up against me. All of them didn't want to have Henry McClure and my team compete against Go Topeka.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I ended up selling my land that Dana Kay owned. You'll meet Dana Kay someday. He's a cool dude. So he's the guy in the mall business that I went to work for.
Yes, sir.
He and Mace hit it off really good. So Mace goes, the New York Jew walks in. I can't get anything done in the Midwest,
Mm-hmm.
but I send the Swedish boy,
Mm-hmm.
Anderson, in.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the deals done.
Yes, sir.
So they wouldn't discriminate against Dana Kay, but the New York Jew couldn't get anything done. Mm-hmm. So yes, I've endured the pain of Go Topeka. Yes. Really, basically, since I moved back to Topeka.
Yes. Yes.
They've been terrible to me.
Yes. Yes. And
this is what's going to come to a head is you can't not help everybody on every deal. So how in the hell do you qualify?
That's a good question.
Yeah, how do you qualify for a deal?
That's a good question.
So you're going to give money to all these people that don't qualify as economic development.
Right.
But you're not going to. So I asked the other day for $100,000 to put in a sewer line to move a Pizza Hut 675 feet.
Shouldn't have been no problem.
It would have paid back
should have been no problem.
$49,000 a year in sales tax and land, or real estate taxes. Mm-hmm. Should have been any problem.
Should have been none whatsoever.
No, zero. But Henry McClure brought the deal in, and we're not going to give him deals.
That's not right.
See, this isn't me waking up one day and saying, well, I resent all this. It's what has happened, for being an alcoholic. Absolutely. What I used to do back in the day, you'd go to the bar and drink your problems away.
Yes.
Well, now when you're not doing that anymore, I wake up every day.
Yeah.
And then there just comes a point in time where you can't take it anymore.
Right.
It's time to throw the tea into the bay. Right. It's time to change. Yeah. Revolution. We got to have a revolution. You know what we got to do, though, in time? We got to quit being Republicans and Democrats, and we got to quit being black and white. There's got to be a certain time.
That is correct. There's got to be good and bad.
And we can see bad.
Mm-hmm.
We can. Mm-hmm. We've gone through it.
I agree with you, Mr. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I just,
I would have loved to have met your dad.
Oh, I wish you could have also. There's a lot of people I'm sure you know that know him.
Think about it, man. People don't realize what it would be like. See, I lived down in the South for a couple of years. Chattanooga. Chattanooga was the town where the last battle of the American Revolution was fought, and the last battle of the Civil War.
No, that's correct.
And when I lived down there, the old white crackers, they'd go, "Where are you from, boy?" And I go, "Boy." I go, "Well, where do y'all think I'm from?" They go, "I don't know. You could be anywhere from Memphis, anywhere from Nashville to Memphis. I don't know." And I'd say, "No, I'm from Topeka, Kansas." Mm-hmm. "Why? You talk Southern." Mm-hmm. I go, "Well, I was from South Topeka." Yes. Mm-hmm. They go, "You're a Yankee."
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Do you know anything about how much money that they had put into the racetrack? I mean, racetrack, I think, probably was a good thing for a lot of people. Do you know how much taxpayer dollars that they had put in there? I think currently now it's closed, isn't it?
over time, everybody's asked me about the racetrack.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And I don't. It's like
well,
I don't. I don't know
well,
everything.
well, I knew the gentleman that had worked at the time. He's now in Texas. I won't say his name.
You mean the guy that owned it?
Well, no, the guy that worked there as a minority there, when Go Topeka was doing all that, and he was telling me just the other day that
It's another boondoggle.
it was a lot of there was a lot of taxpayer dollars that went into that during that Felker administration there that went into that. And so all I'm saying is that the people need to wake up and see how they're spending your money. See how it's abused, wasted, and we need to get people in there, and then we get them in there. We need to hold them accountable.
Well, what they're good at in Topeka, it's like some dude that is a friend of Cook's, who I'm running against, walks up to me and says, "Man, you smell like alcohol."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud of not drinking.
Sure.
I said, "Hey, if I was drinking, it's none of your business." But I said,
Right.
if that's all you got
Yeah.
to get me on,
Yeah.
you're not going to rob me of my future because of my past.
Well, that's what people don't like.
And you know what I did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People don't like to recognize, and I talk for myself now.
They don't want us to change. They
They
want to
don't
keep
want
us
us. That's
down.
correct, and that goes from church to whole society.
It's easy to kick Henry down. Oh, he's just a drunk. You know, we don't want to do anything for him. Well, College Hill
Well, yeah.
had some shortfalls,
Mm-hmm.
but the city of Topeka was the worst partner I ever had. They didn't record the TIF agreement. They didn't record the development agreement. Lou McGinnis never could have owned that. If they would have recorded the TIF agreement and the development agreement, they could have approved Lou McGinnis owning that property.
And you know the beauty of that,
Tell me.
Henry, is that you have acquired the experience to where you can be a better leader.
I've lived through it.
And you know all the pitfalls there. And this is what I'm saying today.
You can't blame that one on me.
You can be a better leader because you understand what they should do.
Well, it was my capital.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of my own money in that
Mm-hmm.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of my own time. Yeah, I brought in an investor.
You understand what I'm saying?
Who knows the private money?
Right, right.
It wouldn't have happened without Clark Duffy's help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had one guy that believed in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how it happened?
Mm-hmm.
We walked into an economic development committee meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I just walked in. I didn't have to have an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And Clark and another guy named Gary Price, who was on city council, they liked what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
And College Hill happened because they got behind it. It did. And it was good for Washburn. Mm-hmm. But this Lou McGinnis guy, he's got a bunch of problem properties. They could have said, okay, Lou, you can buy College Hill. Bring all your other properties up to code. See, the city shouldn't be out buying hotels. In fact, right now, oh man, it's already happened. There was a 2:30 meeting. I know for a fact there's an offer to buy the hotel right now. A meeting's going on right now. It could still be going on.
Well,
the city doesn't need to be buying hotels. The city needs to quit trying to pick the winners.
Well, I agree.
Free market.
What I'm going to say right now is I agree. I agree, and they really have no business being in that type of situation. But like I say, we can go on.
Yeah, let's sum up let's sum up the show.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
We're running out of steam.
Yeah.
So
and but we can go on and
closing.
On. Yes, yes.
You get a close.
Well, I'm asking that the citizens of this community will wake up, get some courage. This man here has a lot of knowledge in the political process, and some of the things he's been able to. I call him. I call him a. What did I say earlier? How did I call it? You're a willer and a dealer. What was I said earlier?
Mover and shaker.
You're a mover and a shaker. This is a mover and a shaker here.
Thank you.
And
That's a compliment.
Yes, this is a mover and a shaker here. He understands some of the insides, and if he's willing to commit his time as a county commissioner, we ought to give him an opportunity because
Thank you.
because he doesn't have to do this. He can do a whole lot. He's done it. But if he want to take his time out to offer us in this community an opportunity with his wisdom and his knowledge, he's been very gracious to admit who he is, who he was, who he has become. That is very important that we take advantage of that and work with him is what I would like to close with.
In closing, my goal is to engage the 740 real estate people that are members of the Topeka Board of Realtors or the Sunflower Association, because that's 740 businesses. And if I can engage those 740 businesses to take over the duties of the real estate component of Go Topeka, that's given 740 businesses an opportunity that they don't have today. So it's not about Henry McClure getting the deal. It's about engaging 740 new people because we're street people. We get paid by the deal and we don't want any of that overhead. We pay our own way every day and we get paid when we succeed. We're not going to live off the government's money. All right. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you for the endorsement.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so Jamie, we're gonna do some work in the internet business, put him to work, and do some work for him.